Welcome, Gaurav. I wish you all success, and this mock interview should take you to the. Your name should appear in the list of successful candidates for the civil services. Gaurav, you have a very brilliant career. I was going through your biodata. Uh, you have done the mechanical engineering, and before that, of course, you have passed out from the Maharashtra State Board. Uh, and You have also appeared in the Indian Forest Service uh, examination. I was reading through your biodata, and what I saw something very unique. Selected to meet Honorable President of India in Atma Vishwas and Prerna Abhiyan 2011. What was that?
Sir, it was the initiative initiated by the local Jilla Parishad along with the some NGOs in our district. Sir, it was a 3 months long program. It had two components. One was the Vachan Sanskar Abhiyan. It was meant to inculcate the reading habit in the students of 8th, 9th, and 10th standard. And second was about the awareness about the different career prospects, including the competitive examinations. Sir, so it has various components like the reading of the books in the school, and after that examination was taken, under which 52,000 students appeared and 50 students were selected to meet Honorable President of India.
Atma Vishwas and Prerna.
Yes, sir.
What exactly these ingredients, how they were amplified there in the meeting?
Sir, in our 50 students, there were 35 girls, and the 12th President of India was also the first woman President of India. So she was quite impressed by the presentation of girls. And secondly, sir, regarding Atma Vishwas and Prerna, the Prerna literally means the inspiration, and the inspiration to serve the nation, to serve the society, according to our best ability of the person. So she imbibed on that how we can serve the nation.
You have Gaurav taken political science and international relation as the options. But you have given Indian Foreign Service as option number 4, below even Indian Police Service.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain what was the reason behind that?
Sir, I come from rural background, so I always wanted to work at grassroots like health and education sectors. So my wish is to work directly with the people, where I can affect the life of the people. I strongly feel that, sir, all services give me opportunity to serve the nation. But for my personal attitude or aptitude, sir, I selected the those services above the Indian Foreign Service.
If we see you as in terms of the knowledge is successful to have the mastery of the subject of political science and international relations, since you have qualified in the mains, and we definitely would like to use your knowledge and expertise, but at the same time, when the Atmishwas comes, it seems that you are lacking in Atmishwas in the articulating the foreign policies.
No, sir, I don't. I would rather put it in this perspective, sir. I actually want to work directly with the people, where I can directly affect the life of the people, and I think the civil services provides me the opportunity to uh, uh, care about the other people. And sir, foreign policy is concerned, it is interest of the it through IFS also, sir, we can serve the
Okay,
nation.
Gaurav, uh, strong bureaucrat doesn't build a strong country, but engineers definitely can contribute a lot toward the development of the country. You are a mechanical engineer.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the engineers in large numbers are joining the civil services? If and a lot of amount is spent on training on making a person become an engineer, that the engineer should contribute more in their line, the technical rather than to become a generalist. Generalist, I don't mean Journ, but GENERALIST, generalist.
Sir, it is true that a lot of resources are spent on the training the engineers in 4 years. But at the same time, sir, through governance also, I strongly believe that engineers can contribute towards society, because now we are seeing the increasing use of technology in governance. We are seeing the use of artificial intelligence, and in the COVID crisis, sir, we see the bureaucrats have to extensively work technology, and I think engineers are best placed to integrate the technology with the administration. So I think, sir, they can use their training. And also, sir, in engineering, the basic emphasis is on the logical thinking, logical approach, and rational approach towards problem solving. So these traits can be extensively used for civil service.
One of this, India, it's very strange. The relations with the neighbors, if you see, they are rather deteriorating day by day. And Nepal also at one time used to be a good friend of India. And being a Hindu country, we used to have a slightly different sort of a look toward Nepal. Now the Taliban factor is emerging. Sri Lanka already is, of course, in the hands of China, well in the debt of Chinese debt. What sort of you feel that the Indians have not been able to articulate a good policy, foreign policy, which could have a neighbor-friendly effect, or the neighbors have too much ambition that they think that India is more of a problem, being a and is trying to bully them because of their size and
Uh, Sir, there are two, three factors work when we deal with our neighbors. First, we have to see there is a cultural identity that links us with our neighbors. Sometimes that also creates problem. And secondly, sir, there is a asymmetry in the size and the power of India and our neighbors. Are like countries like Sri Lanka, Nepal, they are smaller in economic and strategic power. So, sir, that asymmetry also creates problem, because sometimes the small countries see bullied by India, and also, sir, the elites of these countries. I think it is in best interest of those nations to play India and other countries, because they can milk maximum out of both countries. So I think, sir, it will continue, because I think it is serving their purpose, those countries. And as far as the Indian foreign policy is concerned, from Gujarat Doctrine to the Modi government's neighborhood first policy, we have tried to um, uh, improve the relations with our neighbors. But, sir, I think there are certain structural issues that I have earlier mentioned that does not allow our relations to be at the optimal level.
Gaurav, do you feel there is a need for a uniform civil code in the country?
Sir, I think we should try to achieve the uniformity or equality between the male and female within the religions, rather than among all religions simultaneously, because we have to also preserve, sir, the uh, diversity that is meaningful. So I think the approach that is led by judiciary, and where the equality is preserved within the religion, it will be best suited for India.
Secularism is basically, if you see, since the last 75 years, more than 75 years of independence, has it been a sort of a blessing, or has it been a more of a problem?
Sir, I think rather secularism is a necessity for the diverse country like India. India is multicultural, multi-ethnic region. So we need secularism as our prerequisite for succeeding as a nation, sir.
Okay, Vishwajit. Vishwajit, you can take it over.
Yeah. Hello, Gaurav. Yeah. See, you are a mechanical engineer from Sinhagad Institute. It's a premium institute from Pune or from Maharashtra also. So I'm sure you would have got an offer for through campus, offer for from any better company. but you seem to have not opted for that. Any specific reason?
Sir, actually, we start for the training and placement activities at third year and fourth year. At that time, sir, I had decided that I want to uh, pursue the career in civil services. So I had not opted for those campus placements.
Okay, then what made you feel after completing your mechanical engineering, such a important course or significant course, and that too such a successfully and from a premium institute? What made you feel that now you should shift your gears and try for something else?
Sir, when I had took decision in 12th to take engineering, I was not that aware about what I'm going to learn because it was like a natural decision when you get good marks in 12th and the entrance examinations, you opt for engineering or medical field. But sir, when as I went through engineering courses, I liked that, but at the same time, sir, I believe that my inner calling was towards something different. I had my aptitude to work at for the people, and I think, sir, through mechanical engineering also we can serve the country and serve the people, but the direct contact with the people will come through the civil services. It provides me a better opportunity and it will allow me to work in diverse and challenging sectors. It will give me opportunity to be lead through the governance. So, sir, therefore I opted for this career.
Okay, so imagine if you are given a chance to go back and change your decision of opting for a graduation subject. Would you change it to something else, or would you like to keep it still mechanical?
Sir, I will still keep mechanical engineering as a graduation.
Okay, but then you said you went for mechanical for something else, and then because if that's the case, now you should not be leaving the mechanical field altogether, no?
But sir, what important thing that I taught me to in engineering course was that there you learn logical approach towards the problem. We actually ingrain in ourselves the rational attitude towards problem solving. And sir, I think that approach uh, is what I have learned through the 4 years of mechanical engineering. So even if I get choice, sir, I will opt for that.
Okay, so and after that, yeah, you had an option of going for mechanical engineering as your optional, but you chose political science. Any specific reason for that?
Sir, the reason was, see, we do mechanical engineering through 4 years in 8 semesters. So there are more than 35 courses that we have to learn. And doing that all study in limited time frame would have become difficult. And also, sir, the taking as a subject like political science and international relations also helped me in preparation for other papers. So therefore, I took this subject as option.
Okay, so you chose it mainly for convenience and for possibility of getting a better marks. That's what you're suggesting.
Not marks, sir, actually, but it will help me in overall preparation for this examination. So,
No, you are preparing for marks only. No, you're preparing for something else.
but sir, we cannot prepare something if we don't really like that subject. So we cannot study it for longer period. So I had.
Point is no, that's okay. But my point is ultimately everything that you're doing here in UPSC competitive examination is for marks. It is not for your PhD or anything. No, if you really want to know political science, there are different ways to do it. You do MA in political science and PhD in political science.
But sir, I believe that even the procedure of this examination is also important because here we actually learn all these subjects. So, and without, if you don't like that subject, sir, I don't believe you can crack this examination. So I thought that it would be best suited for my interest also. So I took that subject.
Okay, so you like political science.
Yes, sir.
So I would like to know your political analysis, okay, behind the whole scenario that has been built in Maharashtra around reservation.
Yes, sir. Sir, the reservation policy is policy of social justice and of the we see positive action for the marginalized sections of the society. And as in context of Maharashtra, sir, the reservation debate revolves around the Maratha reservation issue. Sir, the Maratha community is a dominant community in Maharashtra, in population base also and in power basis also. At the same time, sir, there is a great inequality within the community, and if we see minutely, the most Maratha community is a farmer community. So there is a very subtle difference between them and the OBC community. So therefore, sir, that community feels that they are discriminated, and therefore there were, there was Mukh Morchas in 2016-17, sir, if you can recall, in Maharashtra. They were uh, mass mobilization in around Maharashtra. So that therefore the Maharashtra government made the amendment for the Maratha reservation, but sorry, it did not stand in Supreme Court. So now I think Maharashtra government is again thinking of reconstituting the committee under 238 article of Constitution of India, and it may it will depend upon us how the committee works.
Okay, what was the rationale behind reservation in public services and education and in politics that was brought in the constitution for SCs and STs? What was the basic rationale? What was the 3-4 points those were taken into consideration while deciding that?
Sir, in 1947, we get the political democracy, but at the same time, the Indian society was extremely segregated, and there were certain sections of society they were socially and economically marginalized. So we could not have achieved equality without all sections coming at the same starting point. Therefore, the motive of reservation was very noble, to inculcate the social and economic democracy within the India. And secondly, sir, uh, where, uh, those sections were also not adequately, or according to their population, were not represented in the government services, neither at the higher education or even at the secondary or primary education. So the basic motive was to create equal footing for all strata of society.
Okay. And do you think the recent or 2 3 years back decision of Government of India giving reservation for economically weaker sections from the upper caste, basically, was it in? Do you think that is also in sync with the logic that you have been giving?
Uh, Sir, I think this reservation was muted for the people who are socially segregated. So it was not economic welfare program in its ideal conception. And but at the same time, you have to see, sir, there are sections within the upper caste also, they are economically not so strong. So sometimes they also not get opportunity. So better approach would have been, sir, if, see, for economical weaker section, you can take the welfare programs like scholarship, or the now there for even SC, ST or OBC, we have the programs where they are assisted for preparation of exams for government services. So that type could have helped those society. But sir, what happened is before 2 years, they have given 10% quota, but the limit is about, I think, 8 lakhs. So 98% of the people come into that. So I don't think it will serve the real purpose, though the motive is noble.
Okay, Gaurav, last question. See, before around 1985, 86, India's GDP and India's economic might was higher than China's. And if you see now, there is a big difference between what China has achieved and what. So where did we miss the bus?
Sir, I think the success of the Chinese economic growth must be going to Deng Xiaoping, because he shows the economic pragmatism, though under uh, the ambit of the Communist Party of China, he allowed the private investment much earlier. I think in 1978 he took the reign, and he invited the foreign investment. He invested a lot into the skilling of the workforce. Even this concept of special economic zones, they have created 2 3 economic zones around the Hong Kong and those Macau area. and they were so large and they were so successful that created the manufacturing hub for the China. So they hampered on that. And in case of India, sir, we started late. We opened our economy in 1991, and sir, the major lacuna that we faced was we did not invested that much in the skilling our manpower, so manpower or human resources. So I think that was the difference.
Okay, Gaurav. Thank you. Over to Satya, sir.
So, Gaurav, your optional is political science. So, recently, a phrase, the absence of a state, was very much in news. So, in all the newspapers, like during the second COVID wave. So, what is the meaning of the term, the absence of a state?
Sir, I think the absence of state was because there was the government resources were are outnumbered by the patient and the caseload that we were facing that time. Also, there was people felt that sir, the government did not did that that was needed at that point. So, and there was also, sir, the people were running helter and skelter for oxygens and the ambulance and all for beds. So, I think that time, I think that term came for absence of state.
Can you give another example apart from COVID-19 where you have seen this absence of the state?
Sir, in localized cases, you can see that sometimes, sir, like in Northeast, there were certain areas that were virtually run by the insurgent group. The government was not that successful, or the local government. So in that case, sir, we have seen the absence of government. Or sir, in case of rioting at some places, we have seen in historical events, sir, that time also we can see that that was the absence of state.
So, who is your favorite modern political thinker?
Sir, modern political thinker, I think, Sir, John Rawls.
Okay, John Rawls. So, why do you like John Rawls?
Sir, because I think he saved the liberal concept of justice. Because before him, there was the greater focus on behavioralism. So the basic conceptions of the political science, like the things concerned with rights, justice, they were not that, they were sidelined rather. So John Rawls was the person, sir, who again brought the focus towards the basic political tenets. And I think, sir, he has also been criticized a lot by the communitarian scholars. But I think, sir, the major credit I must give to him that he brought the focus towards the main political concept.
So, if you have to use John Rawls' theory of justice in the context of the problems of your areas, like the areas in the Maharashtra from where you belong, so how will you use that concept?
Yes. Sir, he has used the very innovative concepts like the veil of ignorance, or the we see the where the all start the same. So those are the positive approach toward justice, where the like, sir, we see to use the affirmative action for the marginalized sections of society. So that could be very much used towards the people of India. But at the same time, sir, he lived in different contexts. His studies were mostly based on the Western or European societies. In India, we live in multicultural places. There is stark diversity among different society and sections of society. So, sir, we need our own particular model of justice.
And which thinker will be more suitable for that model? Like that,
I think the theories of Dr. Ambedkar will be most suitable for Indian society.
Which idea of Dr. Ambedkar?
Sir, Dr. Ambedkar always emphasized on two, three things. He was the affirmative action or the positive action by the state machinery was one of the very important idea of him. Secondly, sir, he also emphasized on the equal chance up to all society. Or he said the without social and economic democracy, there will be no democracy, or it will be of no use. So these two things, sir, will be most important for.
Okay, so do you see reservation as equality of opportunity or equality of outcomes? What should be the basis for reservation? It should be like bringing equality of opportunity, or it should be bringing equality of outcomes?
Sir, I think equality is very interesting concept. As we go deeper into equality, we will see different variations of equality. For me, sir, equality will be equality of capabilities. When all the people will be empowered enough to take the equality of outcome, equality of opportunities, then only we will achieve the equality of outcomes. Sir. So I think the Amartya Sen's approach of equality of capabilities will be more important in Indian context.
So, what are the main problems of Khandes region?
Sir, the Khandesh is located between the three states, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh. So the unique problem in the region is that, sir, it is sometimes marginalized in political or developmental context in Maharashtra also. So the developmental deficit is one of the primary problem. Secondly, sir, there are only one or two economic centers in Khandesh. It has three districts, but the only one big we see MIDC or industrial region in the Khandesh region. So there is a whole lot of migration from the Khandesh region. And thirdly, sir, it has blessed with the very fertile black cotton soil. But I think its potential is not optimally harnessed. So I think increasing agri productivity will be also one of the sectors that we can work in Khandesh.
So, can you give me any specific model from Khandes region, which can you give me any specific model from Khandes region which showed this idea of development, or the aspirations of people can be brought together and present a model to the world?
Sir, I think the Shirpur pattern was one that was nationally acclaimed. Shirpur is located centrally into Khandesh, and it was basically, sir, it was model of the water conservation. And from that, Maharashtra started the Jal Yukt Shivar Abhiyan, which was decentralized approach. It was public driven approach, and its main focus was on, because Maharashtra, sir, we have also seen more than half of talukas are drought prone. So that model, which was started from Khandesh region, so I think that was one of the model that was recognized at the national level.
And what is the difference between Khandesi cuisine and Gujarati cuisine?
So there is fundamental difference between the both cuisines. So Khandesi has the impact of it has a bit impact of Gujarati cuisine also, but its main genesis comes from the Maharashtrian cuisine and Madhya Pradesh cuisine. So it's more spicier rather than Gujarati. And in Khandesi's cuisine, sir, the basic components are the peanut oil, the dry coconut, the hot and spicy lawangi chilies that are locally produced. If you go to Gujarat, sir, they don't eat, I think, that spicy. Khandesh is one of the most spiciest, even in Maharashtra, sir.
Okay,
So the spice.
So what are the specific Khandesi recipe or cuisine that you make?
Sir, my personal favorite is the patodi curry, we call it. They are the basin rolls. That is served by the poppy seeds, coriander, and the lawangi chilies, and they are cooked in the black masala. You know, black masala is one of the significant item that will get you only in Khandesh. So that is one of the most sought after dish in Khandesh. Second is this, wangache bharit, we call it in Marathi. It is actually like bengan ka bharta, but it is done in Khandeshi style. So our spices are totally different from the North Indian spices. So there we use the chilies, roasted chilies, and the green onion and the dry coconut, and they are cooked together, and it is there is specific flour is used. We call it kalnya, sir. It is a mixture of jowar, the urad dal or black gram, and the rock salt. They are grinded together, and puris are made from that flour. So it just tastes heavenly, sir.
Okay. So how does cooking impact your or influence your personality?
Sir, one of the most important thing that I learned through cooking was the balance. Cooking is all about the balance of the different flavors. And secondly is the patience, because in cooking, if you make haste, sir, then your dish will not taste as you wish. So these two, patience and secondly balance, these are two things that cooking taught me.
Okay. Okay. Ranjay sir.
Thank you, Satya sir. So Gaurav, how you are going to use the knowledge of cooking in your learnings from cooking while administrating in your district
Sir,
or
I
in
think the
administration?
trade that we learn in the procedure of cooking, that I have already stated, that is balance. We have to balance between
No,
the
yes, sir. So simple. My question is,
yes,
whatever you have learned in cooking, how you are going to use in administration?
yes. Sir, as I've already mentioned, the traits, patience and balance, and thirdly, sir, the knowledge of cooking can directly be used in mid-day meal scheme, which is one of the very flagship scheme in running across the schools of our region. So, like the use of the local ingredients in local cooking, or enriching them with the, we have seen the deficiency of proteins and iron among the students, and that problem of malnutrition. So that could be tackled well with the knowledge of.
Okay. So you have done your mechanical engineering.
Yes.
Uh, can you tell me what is second law of thermodynamics?
Uh, Sir, I think it is of that the energy cannot be transferred from higher potential to lower potential. I'm not exactly remember that, but I think the essence of second law is this.
Okay. Can you explain me the mechanical process of refrigeration?
Yes, sir. Sir, the mechanical procedure of refrigeration is based on the sudden expansion of the refrigerant. Therefore, the volume increases and temperature reduces. The compressor or the that is located in backside of refrigerator we often see. So the reverse cycles of reverse of Carnot cycle is used in
I'm not
refrigeration.
able to understand. Can you explain me in a better manner?
Sir, in simple words, sir, the refrigerant which is used, like ammonia we used to use earlier, it is suddenly expanded in the that coil, sir. So the temperature volume increases suddenly, the temperature reduces, and that principle is used in refrigeration.
Okay. So you talked about Gujral doctrine in one of your answers.
Yes.
So can you explain me what is Gujral doctrine and do you think it is relevant in present time?
Yes. Sir, the basic
Post
mode.
in COVID era?
I think, sir, we need more Gujarat doctrine more than ever, because the prime motive of Gujarat doctrine was to build a better relationship with our neighbors. It was based on principle of non-reciprocity, and secondly, not allowing any anti neighboring country activities in any of the neighboring countries in South Asia, particularly. I think there are two more important, more than important things than ever nowadays, because in COVID we have seen that the defunctioning of SARC had affected, because if it would have been functional, sir, we could have done much better, because India had the expertise, India had the, we are greater manufacturing power in pharmaceuticals. We did our best helping countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, but I think Gujarat doctrine still holds its importance.
Okay, so you talked about reciprocity. Recently, this word was in the news, principle of reciprocity. Do you have any awareness regarding this?
No, sir. I think
Let,
non-reciprocity was
let me give
used.
you a hint. It was in terms of vaccine.
Uh, I think, sir, it was used with context of USA, that we have helped them in first wave for supply of that drug.
Let me move to the next question.
Yes,
We have seen in recently there is a lot of crisis going in Middle East.
yes.
Can you tell me some of the recent crisis which is going in Middle East?
Sir, the Middle East is always a very contested strategic front. It has historically been the battlefield for the different, like Saudi versus Iran, Shia versus Sunni. Even now we have seen the intra-Arab conflict. And now, sir, I think some days ago, Yemeni president was assassinated by the Houthi rebels. That was the major thing that happened just 2 days earlier, I think. And the traditional Iran, Saudi, sir, that is going on. Continue.
Okay. So you talked about, you have written that you played you legim,
Yes.
some instrument. What is this
Yes.
legim?
Sir, legim is actually it is like it is a pole, a short pole of nearly 30-40 centimeter, and there is an iron jingling bar attached to it, like this in string. And sir, it is played for like a dancing. Sir, it was also used by Maratha army. It was also used for the physical exercise. So it's mixture of the physical exercise as well as dancing, and it is done on the our social rituals. It is one of the very important ingredient of Marathi culture.
Okay, okay. So last question from my side. Why you want to join civil services?
Sir, the civil service provides me opportunity to work in the diverse and challenging fields. It gives me opportunity to lead in governance sector. And for me, sir, it will utilize my abilities to its best. I think for me, it's a journey towards larger mindedness, where I will care about the aspirations and dreams of the other people.
Okay. Thank you, Gaurav.